citizens, the spread of crime, rising crime across the constituencies of our country, from the leeward counties to urban areas, the increase in police brutality that continue to victimize innocent and peaceful Liberian citizens, the spread of corruption, bad governance at different levels, the spread of lawlessness, and the general state of impunity across the country. And we are expected that the Bwaka-led government would have demonstrated responsibility to have the president come to receive a delivery of valid concerns of the citizens about the governance of the state. That peaceful exercise was met with ridicule, mockery from senior state actors, including Joseph Boakai, who himself mocked the process and did not give any serious listening ear, or did not consider seriously the concerns that were being raised by the thousands of Liberian citizens that came out under a heavy rainfall for the peace and the security of the state. And we are glad that true to our word, it was a very peaceful exercise, so peaceful and so orderly that the Ministry of Justice wrote us, invited us to a conference, and I praise the protest as being very peaceful. Even commended organizers and said, we want to thank you for the peaceful conduct of the protest and its orderliness. So that speaks to the patriotic and law-abiding stance of our movement, which is a combination of Liberian citizens from across the country in their tens of thousands that are determined to hold government accountable for abuse of incumbency at different levels. President Boakai did not only fail to show up, nor did he make the expected decision to send an emissary to receive the petition, but also disdain that forum, disdain that process to ridicule. And we have promised the Liberian people that we will be back. And we are coming back to the streets of Liberia on December 17th to initiate a sustainable, non-violent resistance effort that has been named and labeled the Lead or Leave Enough is Enough sign on December 17th in most capitals of different countries, especially in Montserrat, where thousands of Liberians will turn out from 6 a.m. on the 17th of December at the premises of the Executive Mansion. At the premises of the Executive Mansion to peacefully make demands that are consistent with the Constitution of the Republic, that gives citizens the right, the constitutional obligation to require of their governors or their state actors the need to take proactive democratic actions of reform when their safety or their security so requires. The safety and security of Liberians at this time requires the need for a peaceful and not violent democratic revolution in Liberia. That revolution begins on December 17, and it is irreversible. And once it is initiated, it will not be cut off until Joseph Yimon Boakai will make the wise decision to listen to the demands of the people and commence a scrupulous process to implement all the demands that will be contained in our assembly on that day. We will be very peaceful. We will be law-abiding, but we will be fearless. And we will converge at the executive mansion. And the decision of the people to converge at a property that is a custody of the citizens will not be negotiated. It will not be negotiated and will not be deterred. Not by tear gas canisters, nor by hot water trucks, or by police bullets. That assembly is precedented for those who may not know. July 17, we consented to be detoured to have our convergence or our assembly between the Capitol building and the UL campus. On December 17, we will not be detoured. We will not be turned around. We will not take no for an answer. The Liberian people in their thousands, possibly in the tens of thousands, will converge right before the front yard, the front pavement of the executive mansion. Because that place is the property of the people. And the people will not be denied their right to converge on their property. I remember a while ago, there was an anti-drugs or say no to drugs protest that we supported, that we believe was in the right direction, that was allowed to be held at that same premises. So any justification to the contrary that will seek to deny the people their right to converge at that very spot will not only be contested, but will be resisted. Will be fought with every ounce of our blood, ideologically, of course peacefully, because it is by precedent that citizens can be allowed to assemble at that very spot. And we will not be denied our rights because we are Liberian citizens. It is also constitutional. The law requires in Article 17 of our Constitution that every citizen has the right to freely assemble for the good of the state, to consult policymakers for the common good, and are also within the confines of the law to demand of their governors, their policymakers, legislators, senators, and the presidency necessary reform efforts that will address collective concerns about governance, especially in a country where police brutality has become so rampant. We have the police director whose arms have become heavy with muscles, victimizing innocent citizens, giving instructions, giving mandates that have led to a bloodbath against innocent Liberian citizens with impunity. Whether it was Marvin Moba, who was mentally challenged, who was killed at point blank range, while the police director went on and made that podcast to defend the brutality against the peaceful Liberian citizen that was mentally challenged, or citizens of King George that were protesting bad labor practices by Bean Mountain, a foreign concession that is exploiting Liberian diamond, Liberian gold, and hauling it out of the country, making hundreds of millions per annum, while the living standard of the people of King George remains at the mercy of the concessionaire, and the state of affairs of that place, of that country, remains deplorable. Or marketeers who are daily brutalized, harassed, intimidated, driven from the street by the police in consortium with the Monrovia City Police. Their goods are being seized daily with impunity and cannot be accounted for. This police force that have become repressive, that have become brutal against its own citizens, has just been rewarded with a $36 million budget line or more in our current budget, which goes to say that Joseph Boakai is aiding and abetting police brutality against peaceful Liberian citizens, for which he, like Mr. Cuomo, must be held accountable on December 17, 2025 at the Executive Mansion. Wow. What is hunger? Citizens are dying of hunger today. The economy is bad and deplorable. Yet the police cannot allow the free expression of ideas or dissent that are intended to speak the grievances and expose egregious economic crimes against our people.
That were arrested for drug. He said he's from the office of the vice president. He said he's from the office of the vice president, and he keeps to bribe the LTA agents here. And so the LTA, the tension continue to build here because, I mean, he's claiming that the LTA ate the money. You have his ID card.
It's been proven that you can run the executive mansion right out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You can run the executive mansion out of a small place. Why do we need a whole Ministry of State just for presidential affairs? And it's a place where different people, all our need, look, even me now as CEO with more than 5,000 employees across Africa in multiple countries, I don't really have a special assistant. My laptop is it. I have different departments, different heads of different sections, and they work. Why do we need a president to have such elaborate infrastructure? The sooner we review this, the better the budget will begin to work for us and for the people. And if that doesn't happen, we're always going to have this situation. And that's why we're saying, ladies and gentlemen of the press, people in Radio Land, that we need to change the governance style of our country by changing the people we give power to. Thank you so much. As president of Liberia, you see that executive mansion? I will turn into a 5-star hotel. I don't need to be in such an elaborate infrastructure. It's been proven that you can run the executive mansion right out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You can run the executive mansion out of a small place. Why do we need a whole Ministry of State just for presidential affairs? And it's a place where different people, all our need, look, even me now as CEO with more than 5,000 employees across Africa in multiple countries, I don't really have a special assistant. My laptop is it. I have different departments, different heads of different sections, and they work. Why do we need a president to have such elaborate infrastructure? The sooner we review this, the better the budget will begin to work for us and for the people. And if that doesn't happen, we're always going to have this situation. And that's why we're saying, ladies and gentlemen of the press, people in Radio Land, that we need to change the governance style of our country by changing the people we give power to. Thank you so much.
No more money. I can't stand no more, cause no more food. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. Hey yo, excuse me, Mr. Journalist. make your headlines in the press release today. Although I read the news every day, but I'm really still getting confused now. And I just wanna ask you some questions. Oh, is it based on money? Is it based on presidency? Is it based on technology? Is it based on war? Tell me, we got major headlines. Oh, we got
Indeed, we got major headlines and major stories we want to talk about tonight. Today is Tuesday, the 2nd of December, 2025. We're grateful to be in the 12th month of the year. Hopefully, we got roughly like 29 days to complete the year 2025. We are actually grateful. Tonight wasn't our list. We're going to look at today's cabinet meeting about His Excellency President Joseph Boakai. We will talk about the cabinet meeting with the president, and once we done with the cabinet meeting, we will come out and talk about other things. So let's take a short break. When we come back, we run through these development coming out tonight.
There is no job, no money for hustlers. We got major headlines. We got major stories. There is no job, no money for hustlers. How many people do you love, man? How many people do you cherish? How many people do you help out there? Most especially women. No job, no money. No cause, no glory, no help for poor men. That's what we know. How many people do you love? How many people do you cherish? How many people do you help out there? Most especially poor men. No job, no money. No cause, no glory, no help for poor men. That's what we know. We got major headlines. We got major stories. There is no job, no money for hustlers. We got major headlines. We got major stories. There is no job, no money for hustlers. You don't know stories? You've been writing stories from rock of ages. Keep writing stories about people who not too concerned. We got a lot of people in the ghetto, people on the block, people in the street. If y'all know what I know, follow me. And I'll take you to places where people are suffering. We got lame people, blind people. I mean, people that in need, man. People too much in need. Come on, yeah. How many people do you love, man? How many people do you cherish?
So indeed, it's great to be back here, and it's a wonderful pleasure to be on the program, the round table. So what is it? The first talking point here tonight is basically focus on the issue of the cabinet meeting that was being hosted on today in Bomi County by His Excellency President Joseph Boakai. And we also had some conversations with marketers in Waterside today, and we will be analyzing some of these things these people have said about the current situations and constraints in the Liberian economy as it relates to the everyday life. We will talk about that as well. And yeah, so far so good. We will be looking at those development, and also the recent press statement by Moba Molu from stands there. So basically, we witness the president along with his cabinets. They were at Bomi County there, and we saw that I'm trying to get this. Okay. We saw that the president. Okay. I'm trying to get this photograph, and the president I've been in the cabinet meeting. This is not sorry, this is not the photograph that I want to get, but I am trying to lay my hands on the photos. And okay, so the president was seen in a cabinet meeting with his cabinet ministers. Some of these ministers got praises from the Liberian leader, and we saw the likes of Eugene Falcon, who is heading the Liberia broadcasting system, being praised by the Liberian leader for his work that he's doing in terms of making sure that we can have a wider coverage of the state-run broadcaster in other parts of the country, and several other things were being looked at during today's cabinet meeting. So let me just make you to understand that the president and his cabinet minister met in Birmingham, and strong uh, warning, especially about the rule of law, was being made. So President Bwaka meeting with his cabinet on today was the eighth cabinet meeting, and the first one outside Monrovia, focusing on the rule of law, corruption, job creation, and youth rehabilitation. So we all know that the rule of law is paramount for any given and developing society. And in as much as we want a society to be a flourishing one, we should be able to look at all of these key areas in government. So the president spoke about, you know, when he talked about uh, the rule of law, he addressed officials and declared suspended 10 new cases at the LACC. Matter must be resolved quickly. And he said that, the police, the badges, the police wear is not about, hunting lessons to break the law, right? And you stress about job creations, which remains a major priority, according to him in our meeting, and noting that many young Liberians are trained and ready to work. And he urged that all ministries and agencies to meet their targets on the performance management system. So let's talk about this rule of law. A lot of other common thing that we saw, but mainly we cannot talk about these law issues because it's about law issues. So every given view here, which is be our own personal opinion. So we will not dive deep into that. But when we want to look at the meeting being held today, the cabinet meeting being held today in Bombing, first of a kind outside Montserrato on President Boyka Washington today, which is the eighth cabinet meeting, then we will be looking at how can this government be able to create job for the many young Liberians that are getting degree on a daily basis. This is one thing that we should take into serious consideration, right? We've had several of these issues. Years in, years out, we have the likes of the University of Liberia and the likes of other universities that are coming out to give degree onto young promising Liberians. But the avenue the government is creating outside of government in terms of the private sector. So let's read this document, right? And let's see what this document says. It says Liberian cabinet endorsed $1 billion budget, right? The cabinet of the Republic of Liberia conveyed on December 2nd, 2025, under the leadership of His Excellency President Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr., to discuss three main priorities: job creation, the national response of drug abuse, and the fiscal year 2025 national budget. Job creation. It says, why much I'm not having a total. Let me have a total glance of this document while we talk about it. Hmm? It says, why? Let me zoom this. It says why much has been done to create jobs. The cabinet has been discussing ways to increase employment and endorse the development of the National Employment Acceleration Strategy, which focuses on investment driven job creation, public works programs, skills development, and support to small enterprises. To strengthen evidence based decision making, the cabinet agreed to formalize national data collection system and that key institutions should collaborate to conduct regular survey to ensure accurate labor statistics. The president directed LAGIS, NRC, Ministry of Youth and Sport, Ministry of Labor, and the Ministry of Finance Development Planning to coordinate implementation of the strategy and provide quarterly reports to cabinet. National budget. We will go step by step, right? With all of these things said, you know, acceleration strategies which will focus on investment driven job creation. What are, what exactly will the cabinet do to have investment driven job? What are some of the things they consider to be investment driven job? They the main focus now we should be looking at is how can we be able to create job for our country outside of government, for this nation outside of government. How can we be able to create job in the private sector that our people can no longer say, oh, because I'm basically uh, you know, graduating from school, I want to run for representative, I want to be the issues we should be able to look at, and look at them as a paramount step for our country. So with this job creation, I think the government, with the current budget, endorsing the current budget is fine, but they should be looking at driving situations. They should be looking at how they can be able to invest into the heavily into the heavily into the private sector. What can the government do? Invest in the private sector. We've seen other modern is also focused on the private sector. How can we all not want to work in government when we don't have jobs in the private sector that will be able to sustain us and our family when we take these jobs? Another thing, in terms of these kind of opportunities the government want to afford to young people, to citizens, since our country population is mainly about young people, we should also look at the fact that most of these opportunities should be done on a merit basis. In a sense that if you are fully qualified, you should have the job, or you should have that opportunity. Our society have turned to be a society where basically if you don't know a particular person at a particular top ranking position, in as much as you qualify, it makes it even tough for you to get that position. So I tell you, and I say this to you, that our country, Liberia, we need to focus heavily on the private sector. We need our government to invest mainly in the private sector. Invest in the private sector where we will have opportunities. We will have young Liberians able to create jobs, institutions creating these opportunities. It's not helping our society. But I think is actually a good thing that the government has also thought it wise to look at things they can be able to do and implement strategies to provide job for young people, to provide opportunities for young people, to provide a way that young people can be able to earn for themselves and sustain they and their families. So job creation is paramount. But again, in as much as it's paramount, we should be able to look at how can we invest fully in the private sector, and how can this help. These strategies we are coming with, what can we do to make it realize, to make it actualize? What can we do? What can we do? What actually can we do? Yeah, I tell you no lie. I tell you. And let's look at the cabinet, what they say on the national budget for fiscal year 2025 and fiscal year 2026. They said the cabinet welcomed the submission of the first budget to exceed US 1 billion. With this first statement I read, it makes me feels like it's more of politics than seeing this as an actuality, in the sense that the government is pushing a 1 billion budget to prove a point, instead of pushing a 1 billion budget to have actualities, to have priorities into fruition, to have these things that have been said to our people to the common people who cannot provide for themselves into reality. So they say the cabinet welcomed the submission of the first budget to exceed US 1 billion. The Minister of Finance briefed cabinet on allocations and revenue assumptions. Cabinet endorsed the budget's strategies, direction, and pledged unified support during legislative engagements. The president emphasized that these actions represent crucial steps in improving livelihoods, strengthening national security, and advancing Liberia's development goals. I won't want to talk more about this budget again because more of this budgeting is mainly about other people. It's mainly about seeing the rich getting more richer without having a trickle down effect on the common Liberian. So this is one thing we've said over and again. Let the people who put you there have of real impact of what you're doing. Let me play this clip. It tells you how our people are actually frustrated. Let me play this clip, right? I will play this clip on okay. Let me see what I can do, and then I play this clip. It tells you that the people, we approaching holiday, and we were being able to take our our our, our microphone to marketers, the people that feel the real impact of things that happen on a daily basis. And these are things they had to say to us. These are things they had to say to us. Let's just listen to some of these things that the people said. It tells you that there's more and more and more needs to be done.
Full
More
carton,
needs to be done.
but they said the rate prices are okay. Then you say you're not buying, people
More
are not
needs to
buying
be
from
done.
you.
I don't know
So
if
what do
it's
you have
play.
to say to the government as we approach the Christmas?
I don't know if it's playing, but yeah. Let me see if the volume is okay.
What the president supposed to be buying then before we leave?
Uh,
All right, thank you so much.
okay.
So we stay here and the rate drop and things prices
Yeah,
are okay. Then you
we
say
actually
you're not.
want this to play. I'm being real. We want this to play so that people can listen to these things that the people are experiencing on a daily basis.
And
I don't know why it's not
what's
playing.
your name, man?
It's showing, but
So
I
how's
can't
the
actually
business
hear what they're
going? We have
saying. But with this, right? We've been able to speak with these people. Tell me, these are people that experience the reality of our society. You listen to mothers telling you what they go through with the current situation in our society on a daily basis, how they go through these constraints, how the economy is. Currently, the rate is around 170 to 174. That could be the maximum rate somebody could give you and wants to help you for a better rate. And if you even go to change $100 in a trigger of an eye, you realize nothing you've done with that money. We agree to the fact that the government is trying to control how things are, but it's still not giving a perfect trickle down effect on the people. I could be able to afford what I want. But what about Goma, who sells down Waterside? What about Kima, who sells her coal in the community? And you listen to some of these people that says we still have the people they buy from, selling these goods to them for the rate of 200 or at the rate of 200. And now this bring my attention to the fact that what is it the Ministry of Commerce is doing when we have the rate down? What is it the Ministry of Finance is doing when we have the rate is down? It's not about dropping these prices. It's about having a fixed rate that everybody can be able to use. Now we talking about holiday season. So many of you want to buy in a store, you have to get US. We live in Liberia where our people feels like if you don't use the US dollar, you cannot achieve what you want to achieve, or you cannot get what you want to get. This is bad. This is bad. You could have access to the US dollar, but we should have more value. We should add more value to our currency. And we allow these Fulanis to just use all anyhow when it comes to how we use our currency. Yeah, it's bad, very very bad. And I tell you that there's a lot, there's a lot that needs to be done. In as much as the government is doing their very best, but the people still need more, because actually you cannot do more than your best. But you listen to the cries of these people. You listen to these people speak to you when you interview them. You feel so disheartening. You feel bad. You feel their pain. And you get to realize how things are for people that cannot afford. So I'm saying this not because of what someone could think. It's clear. It's clear. Listen to these mothers today. Listen to how they cried out. It's clear. Listen to them. Yeah. So I think there's more that our government can do, and because everything in our country, we believe that the government needs to do it, and it needs to do it in a perfect and right way. In the perfect and right way that we all can be able to have a trigger down effect on whatever that is going to happen. So Liberia now is great. Yeah, we appreciate everything that is being done by the government. Yeah, but we have to be able to listen to our people when they are crying about these things that are happening. We have to. We definitely have to. This is of no joke. This is not something that somebody would say, somebody want to say bad about the government. So our people are crying. If you're listening and you're in government, just know that the people are really complaining that there's no buying, the money isn't hitting for the festive season, and things are tougher than currently. And the normal Liberian saying, when the Christmas will be good, you definitely going to know from the eve of the Christmas. So let's get to our last discussion point. Let's listen to Mr. Moluba Molu, who resigned from the CDC and became a political activist. And yeah, what Mr. Molu get to tell us, and we can close up from there.
peaceful exercise was met with ridicule, mockery from senior state actors, including Joseph Boakai, who himself mocked the process and did not give any serious listening ear or did not consider seriously the concerns that were being raised by the thousands of Liberian citizens that came out under a heavy rainfall for the peace and the security of the state. And we are glad that true to our word, it was a very peaceful exercise, so peaceful and so orderly that the Ministry of Justice wrote us, invited us to a conference, and I praise the protest as being very peaceful. Even commended organizers and said, we want to thank you for the peaceful conduct of the protest and its orderliness. So that speaks to the patriotic and law-abiding stance of our movement, which is a combination of Liberian citizens from across the country in their tens of thousands that are determined to hold government accountable for abuse of incumbency at different levels. President Boakai did not only fail to show up, nor did he make the expected decision to send an emissary to receive the petition, but also disdain that forum, disdain that process to ridicule. And we have promised the Liberian people that we will be back. And we are coming back to the streets of Liberia on December 17th to initiate a sustainable, non-violent resistance effort that has been named and labeled the Lead or Leave Enough is Enough protest. We are coming outside on December 17th in most capitals of different countries, especially in Montserrat, where thousands of Liberians will turn out from 6 a.m. on the 17th of December at the premises of the Executive Mansion. At the premises of the Executive Mansion to peacefully make demands that are consistent with the Constitution of the Republic that gives citizens the right, the constitutional obligation to require of their governors or their state actors the need to take proactive democratic actions of reform when their safety or their security so requires. The safety and security of Liberians at this time requires the need for a peaceful and not violent democratic revolution in Liberia. That revolution begins on December 17th, and it is irreversible. And once it is initiated, it will not be cut off until Joseph Yimon Boakai will make the wise decision to listen to the demands of the people and commence a scrupulous process to implement all the demands that will be contained in our assembly on that day. We will be very peaceful. We will be law-abiding, but we will be fearless. And we will converge at the Executive Mansion.
Ya de para The chief executive. I know he's the chief executive officer of Stan, or yeah, but I guess because he's the founder, the party said they will converge at the executive mansion. It's been to say, okay. Was it July 18th? Yeah. We witnessed this scene enough is enough protest, and they even have publicity all around. And of course, we didn't see any outcome of the protest. I have some few questions to ask Mr. Mulu. What is it that you are mobilizing people again on December 17th to come out and protest? Oh, okay. If I can answer my own question, I think it was because President Bouaka and his government didn't to respond to your counts. Fair enough. But again, why this time? When you guys gave, I think, 3 months, 90 days ultimatum, I guess. And after that, we still didn't see anything you was able to do. Or do you want to cover up for a failed protest? I don't know if I don't actually think if that was a failed protest because you had a lot of motorcyclists and other people you mobilized that joined the protest. I was out there as well, and I was being able to cover that protest. I saw how things were, and I saw almost like yeah. So not again that you are mobilizing people to come out on December 17th. What is it that you are going to be saying this time? Are you coming back with the same count? Do you have new counts to come and say out to the government? How many people do you expect to follow suit or to follow you again? Because some might say we came out in July and basically there was actually nothing materialized from our protests. And now you're claiming that y'all we have to assemble at the grounds of the executive mansion. That was one entrance that was totally barricaded by police. Not even one supporter or one person who went to support the protests were being able to get close to. We saw police having hot water trucks around that perimeter. So what is it this time? I think sometimes if you try to use some approach to solve some problem and it's not working, you have to strategize some kind of different approach that will be suitable. And there's something somebody was telling me, and was that again, most of these political activists, political parties are always mobilizing their supporters to come and support. It's a fun thing, but I think again, most of these political parties and political activists do have people behind them that need jobs. Should start to mobilize that we can have opportunities for partisan supporters and well wishers that adhere to a particular group the country has, and things will be fine, which we all hope for. But again, what are we doing as a people? Are we always gonna go out there and protest against the government? We don't say me. I'm not saying or against the protest. I'm not saying that stands shouldn't go out there and protest. I'm not saying that it is not a right thing. But sometimes some of the things you've tried when not working, you have to find new strategies to go ahead, not to come and do the same old thing and you say you strategize it differently. So I think I've said this again, and we hope that comes December 17th, we'll be able to follow up on Wiz TV. We hope that December 17, whatsoever event that will be happening about 10 should be a very successful one and should basically end up the right way. So we pray and hope that December 17 will be great. And y'all to support us. Y'all can get out there and go to support the the protests and call on the government to say, oh, these things are not right and we want things to be okay. And yeah. So again, it's been a great night tonight. We had a great discussion talking more about our country Liberia. We look at today's cabinet meeting by His Excellency President Joseph Boakai and his cabinet ministers. This is the cabinet meeting, eighth cabinet meeting, yeah, the eighth one that was being hosted by the president, and you know outside Monserrato, several things was being said. Talk about rule law, rehabilitation for young people who are drug addicts and abusing drugs. Talk about job creation, and the cabinets also support first of it can. That's the statement they use. 1 billion budget. Sounds political, right? Yeah. But again, and we spoke about people out there already crying. The red down, red drop, the red fall down. I don't want to call it drop. The red fall down. When something fall, either crash or a sport. And the prices are still being hacked by our own very Liberian. Sometimes, most of these things are not government fault. It's ourselves, our very selves. Because I was telling someone, we want things to be fine in our country. We want things to be okay in our country. And we be stealing from ourselves. And when government steal from us, we say the government is not doing well. The government people can steal. Hey Take, what's up, bro? Thanks for following the show tonight. We say the government officials are corrupt. We say the government officials always stealing from us. But if you ask a motorcyclist from where I live to the junction, to Poro Junction, some charge you different price, ranging from 100 to 200. Some will be very fair, and some will be very uh, criminal minded to steal from you heavily. So that's how it goes. If government even comes out to say, you know, we want to control prices in this country, you still have Liberian complaining. You still have people that will tell you that the government didn't buy their goods. We understand. So again, like I said, most of these things that are happening boils down to us as Liberians. I always tell people that we will take decades upon decades before we start to develop properly. It will happen. But our mindsets are not yet developed as Liberians. And in as much as we are not yet developed as people, we cannot have a developed nation. We can't. So let's start stealing from ourselves first, and then I think the government will do something that it needs to do to be able to control and help our people help themselves. It's been a great night, and let me say thanks to all of you for following Jamisa. You follow from Toro. Uh, I met MTCC. He says he's watching from Ovatan Community, Kakata City, Margibi County. I love my Margibi people so bad, and Take is my friend and brother. Thanks for following tonight, and thanks to everyone for coming on. It's been a great presentation. Mr. Abu is out of time and he's unable to be here with us. He's out of town for some training, and we're hoping we can have it on Thursday. It's also snowing to his end. Yeah, so because of all of that, we couldn't have it on tonight. We also trying to include more panelists and working on that. And hopefully next year, we got a year by complete. We will have more panelists to talk about most of our situations, our training news, our things that happen in our society, so we can be able to talk them properly. My name is William Maggio, and it's been a great night on this platform. It's been a great time having such discussion, and it's been a great presentation tonight. Do have a joyous and a wonderful night. Bye bye.
I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. Hey yo, excuse me, Mr. Journalist. I wonder how you make your headlines in the press release today. Although I read the news every day, but I'm really still getting confused now. And I just wanna ask you some questions. Oh, is it based on money? Is it based on presidency? Is it based on technology? Is it based on war? Tell me, we got major headlines. Oh, we got major story. Yeah. There is no job, no money for hustlers. We got major headlines. We got major story. Hey. There is no job, no money for hustlers. Come take up coverage, the rainy season coming soon. In the ghetto, all the houses are full of leakage, nowhere to sleep. Come and see the widow, living in the street with her children. Since the daddy went to war to fight, he never lived to see them. The children have no shelter, oh, children have no